morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and today's shoutouts go to Chad Small and Scott Saddington. Both were first to say first in one of my recent videos, and both win a shoutout, so congratulations. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here with a review of a neat new airplane, the Eachine P-51D Mustang, Mini Mustang. What is special about the Mini Mustang? Well, it is a beginner's plane, very easy to fly, fully stabilized, but what is special about it is this is a 4-channel aircraft, folks. A full 4-channel aircraft. We have throttle control. We also have aileron control. Okay, this is unusual for a toy grade airplane to have this. You also have elevator control and rudder control. So full 4-channel aircraft for the beginner pilot. Now, why am I saying beginner pilot? Because this is available fully stabilized. You can fly this, and this will automatically, in beginner mode, level itself if you let go of the sticks. And also, it won't let it tilt past a certain angle. There's angle restrictions on the aircraft, so you can't either pitch it too far down or up or roll it over too far down or up unless you turn off the stabilization system and go to full manual mode. Now in full manual mode, yeah, you can roll this over and manually fly it just like any other 4-channel aircraft if you wish to do acrobatics with the aircraft. However, what other thing that has, let me talk about it. Let's go right to the controller real quick before we go any more detail on the airplane. Again, you have beginner mode, fully stabilized. You have intermediate mode, mid-level mode, which is also fully stabilized with angle restrictions. The mid-level mode just lets you bank and pitch at a greater angle, mainly to allow you to do harder turns. So in mid position, you can do harder turns. It's still easy to fly in mid position. It's just that in mid position, you could possibly fly this indoors. We'll confirm that when we go fly this today to see what the turning radius is in mid position. But again, if you go into expert and go all the way forward, that turns off the stabilization system of the aircraft and allows you to do full manual flight. Now there is another button on this controller which is new to me. I've never seen this button. It's aerobatics. Supposedly, while in beginner or mid mode, while you're flying as a beginner, learning to fly, if you want to do tricks, you don't need to know how to do it, folks. You just press this button, and the aircraft, I believe, does a roll and also a loop. We'll confirm that when we go out and fly it again today. But you press this button, and it does automatic stunts. This is similar to a flip button on the old toy drones. They don't have those on toy drones anymore because that tended to burn out motors, that flip button. But this is similar to a flip button, but for airplanes. Okay, that's pretty cool. One other thing this controller has is one key return. What does that mean? That means that the aircraft will remember the direction that it was pointed when it took off, okay? And if you keep the airplane flying down that direction and you press that button, it will do a 180-degree turn and come back to you. Now, that is not a true return to home, folks, okay? There is a possibility if you're off to the right or off to the left of where the aircraft was pointed, that the aircraft actually might fly away with you. So or fly away from you. Don't depend on that as a return to home, folks. Let's go back to the airplane again. Again, 4-channel stabilized. Now, one thing, there is a little bit of assembly. You need to assemble or attach the landing gear, and they are held in place by these 2 little screws. You get a screwdriver and 3 screws. You get 1 extra screw in case you lose these 2 to put these landing gear on. The rods attached to the belt cranks, the push rods are already attached, ready to go, except one thing I recommend you doing before going flying is to attach or connect the controller to the drone while it's on the ground. Make sure all surfaces move, and then put it in manual mode or expert mode and put the controller down and turn off the drone, unplug the drone, and the surfaces, the control surfaces, the ailerons, the elevators, the rudder should all be centered. If they're not, you can adjust that via these little U-shaped things that you see on these push rods here. You pinch them with a pair of needle nose pliers to move them inward, or open them up a bit with a little flathead screwdriver to push them outward to center these before you go flying. Don't go flying if you see them obviously off center, because you might have problems while you're flying. Okay, so that's always something you should check before you go flying, is to make sure your control surfaces are centered. Okay, what do you get in the box with this? You get the instruction manual here. You get, again, I said, a screwdriver, and you get 3 little screws to attach. You only need 2 of them to attach the landing gear onto this. This is available in a 2 battery version or a 3 battery version. You get 3.7 volt, 360 or 350 milliampere hour batteries, and they are size 70, 20, 36, which means 7.0 millimeters thickness, 20 millimeters width, and 36 millimeters length. So these are fairly common batteries, but they are harder to get these days from China, folks, because there's safety restrictions these days for postal shipment of lipos. So the way they're getting around this is they're bundling this with either 2 batteries or 3 batteries. I recommend if you're considering additional batteries for this aircraft, get them when you purchase the aircraft. Go for either the 2 battery one is standard, but there's also a 3 battery version for a few dollars more. One thing though, do not, if you go flying and you want to continue flying, let your aircraft sit for at least 15 minutes before putting in the next battery, because this is a brushed motor inside this airplane. And if you do back-to-back flights, 3 back-to-back flights with this doing acrobatics, I guarantee you're going to burn out your motor much more quickly than you would if you're just flying it around normally. Keep in mind, I'm still flying my original SEMA X5C, folks. I still got that aircraft, and I still fly it today. And I'm very gentle with it while flying. A brushed motor, what I'm trying to say, all of its motors are the original brushed motors. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are careful and baby your motor, it can last a long time, okay? And again, one way to burn out a motor is doing back-to-back flights without letting it rest. Other things you get in the package, you get the battery charger for these batteries, and you get a spare propeller and a quick disconnect connector here for the quick disconnect if it gets damaged on the one in here, which brings up the point of the propeller on this. This is a quick disconnect propeller. It pops off and on and off in a crash. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave it on right now. But if it pops off in a crash, you just push it back on and it'll snap back on again. And if it don't, then replace the quick disconnect or the propeller. Look, you see what's damaged. See this little ring there? That connects onto that like that. If I push it on, it will snap on. I'm not going to do that right now, but it just snaps on and off. And the idea is you're trying to prevent damaging the motor and the gearbox. This has a gearbox, by the way, in it too. In a crash, if you're going, you go in the ground full power. If this propeller doesn't pop off, you could damage the motor, damage the gear shaft, and also damage the gearbox in here. So that's the idea of the quick disconnect of the propeller. So I think I've covered everything on here. Let me double check my notes here. That's about it, folks. Let's go fly this 400 millimeter wingspan airplane out in the field. Let's take it out in the field and fly it and see how it performs. So hope you enjoy this flight. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and we are out at one of my favorite flying fields with the Eachine P-51D Mustang. But there's one thing, let's go over the startup for this, and there's one thing I didn't show you about this, is looking at this transmitter. This is a classic Volantex transmitter design. Now with that in mind, sometimes you might get a reverse channel on your controller, and there's a way to correct that. And I'll try to show that to you real quickly here as we go through the startup procedures for the aircraft. But first thing I need to do is plug in the battery and put it on a flat level surface. So hold on, folks, while I do that. Okay, I have it on a flat level surface. Now let's try, look at the ailerons here. Now the way they're set up to work properly. But if you hold it before moving the throttle full up and full down, if you hold a stick, say they were reversed. If you hold the stick in one position, listen, you'll hear a beep and then it automatically reverses. And you can set that by moving the throttle up and down and it'll remember that. But right now I want to go back to normal. Okay, that should be right and left turn. So that's how you reverse the channels. Hold any of the channel in one position. Let's try the rudder. And notice it goes the other direction. Now if I want to reverse that, you go in the other direction. There. So now it's back to normal. Okay, so that's how you do it. And then once you go up and down on the throttle, it's stuck. It won't do it again. Okay, see I'm holding it and it won't change now. So we are ready to go. I'm going to start off in beginner mode. I have the switch moved all the way back to beginner just to get in the air. We should be good to go. So surfaces are working, and elevator down and up. That's all working properly. So let's get into the air. Oh, that's a nice little flyer. You know, Volantex, or this is Eachine, but Volantex makes some neat airplanes. And I am in beginner mode right now. Let's go over to the field here. I'm at 10% throttle. Let's try that trick button. And up, let's do a loop. Oh, no, I didn't do it. Coming around again. You gotta go faster maybe? Pulling up, there you go. You gotta go fast enough for it to do that. Coming around, let's try a roll. Okay, pressing the roll button. And then you've got to move the stick and then it'll do the roll. So you got to be going fast enough for one thing, and then you got to move the stick right or left to do a roll, or pull the stick up to do a loop. Okay, we are in beginner mode. It actually turns very nice in beginner mode. That's a neat airplane, folks. Let's go to mid mode. Oh, in mid mode it turns off the. It's fully stabilized, folks. Here, let me show you that. Let go of the stick and it'll level. But you can do tricks like a loop. Oh, that's neat. Okay, so I take it back, folks. Obviously, it turns off the. Let me slow it down a bit. It turns off the angle restriction in mid mode, so you can do loops and rolls. Roll. Let's see if that's true. Roll. No, it'll only do loops. It won't. You still got angle restrictions for rolls, as you can see there, but you can do a loop. Inspire. Let's do a barrel roll. Maybe we can do that. I tried a barrel roll, but it's a neat plane, huh? It's flying a bit fast, folks. Whoa, almost got me. It is a fast plane. So this would be more for intermediates, I think. Let me see if I can slow it down. Low throttle right now, in mid position. I'm trying to bring it close, but this thing moves pretty fast. So indoor plane, no. Outdoor plane, yeah. A lot of fun outdoor plane. So, a lot of fun outdoor plane. For beginners, or intermediates will be able to do tricks like that. Loops and semi-barrel rolls. Like that. This ain't a bad plane. That stabilization prevents it from stalling. I tried to stall it there. Can I do night or 3D flying? No. Not enough power. Coming back down again, reducing throttle. So yeah, enjoyable plane. Trying to go as slow as I can with this thing. It don't want to go slow. It's a fighter plane. It is a fighter plane. Neat plane. P-51D from Eachine / pretty sure it's Volantex, folks. Pretty sure it's Volantex. Let's try that one key return. Ain't doing it. How about if I press it again and hold it? Yep. It ain't doing it, the one key return. So I don't know about the one key return. Maybe they deactivated it. Maybe it's only in beginner mode it does it. I'm not going back to beginner mode. It's boring. This intermediate mode is pretty cool. I mean, it's really cool. I like it. Neat. We'll fly it till the battery gets weak. I got another neat airplane I'm going to be flying here again. The Radiolink A560. I think that's a neat plane too. Very similar to what this can do, only it can do more. But this is pretty cool what it can do. This is finally they're including stabilization in by turning off the angle restrictions. This is similar to what we used to call horizon mode in FPV racers, where you still got stabilization, but you can do flips Yeah. Boy, nice turn, huh? I'm using rudder at the same time, folks. This will turn on a dime with the rudder. Ooh, and there goes a quick disconnect, demonstration of the quick disconnect. And it's starting to get a little bit weak right now, so we're probably close to the end of the battery power. Now let me show you how to put the propeller back on. See, there's the quick disconnect. And you just snap or center it and snap it in position. And we should be good to go again. Let's see if we can do a takeoff from dirt. That would be nice. If these wheels look big enough to do a takeoff from dirt. The tiny wheels tend to dig into the dirt, but the bigger wheels tend to not to do that. Let's see if I can get in the air. Nope, nope, nope. Ain't gonna happen. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to toss it. Let's get back in the air. And away. Yeah, it's getting weak. So we're gonna call it quits here shortly. I'm gonna call it quits here now, actually. It's getting weak. So landing it. So that's its flight time, folks. The P-51D mini Mustang. It's really cool. It flies really cool. I like it. So hope you enjoyed this flight. It's Quadcopter 101. Again, Eachine P-51D. Signing out. Hi, Quadcopter 101 back again. I forgot I had a second battery in my pocket. It's about 15 minutes later. I was flying another airplane, and we should be ready to go. This flight, for the second battery, I'm going to play with this aerobatics button. I didn't really explain how to use this. To use the aerobatics button, you have to be going fast enough to do a loop or a roll, or else this will not do it. You press this button, nothing will happen. If you give it stick movement, it won't do anything. But to do a loop or a roll, you got to be going fast enough. Then you press the button, and then you tell what you want to do. And the way you do that is, if you give it a left or a right movement on the right stick here, it will do a roll. Or you press the button, and then you give it an up movement on the stick, and it will do a loop. So that's how you do the tricks with the stunt button. So we are already bound. We're ready to go here. I'm putting it back in mid position because that's my favorite for this. I like that angle restriction being turned off. And let's get into the air. Up or down on the throttle, and away we go. Takes right to the air. Boom. But let's try that automatic loops and rolls that this can do. Speed, pushing up, and it goes an automatic loop. Okay, going down there, turning around, getting some speed up, button, left roll. Then turn it around, get some speed, right roll. Oh, I wasn't going fast enough, obviously, and I'm too high. Let's come back down here. You ain't gonna be able to see that from this tiny airplane. Let's get it a little closer. We'll try that again. Turn it around, more throttle, up, right roll. So, yeah, cool airplane. So I like this thing. It's neat. But it's fast. You are going to need to fly this outdoors, this particular one. This one's just too quick. I mean, you could do sharp turns like that, but it's too fast. You're going to easily lose it and hit the walls of your gymnasium. So that's about as slow as I can get it to go. Let me try that again. That was going into the wind. Cutting back the throttle. That's about as slow as I can get it to go. And it still wants to pick up speed, this fighter plane. Coming over here. Neat. You don't really need that trick button, folks. It's easy to fly it with this. Pull back that stick and just do a loop. How about the rolls? Well, did it do a roll? Well, no. No, I won't let you do a roll, but you can do a barrel roll. You know, if you give it a little bit of elevator and aileron. Like that. Really bad barrel roll, but a barrel roll.
Trying to come around. Elevator and aileron. Trying to keep it close so you can see this thing. So it's pretty neat for a 3.7 volt airplane that can do this. I mean, really neat that you can do this with a little 1S battery. Neat plane. No, not in the sun. Yeah, of course. I always go into the sun, folks. So yeah, mainly for this one's, I don't know about it being a beginner's plane. It's just kind of quick for a beginner. Intermediates, yeah, would love this. Especially the ability to do these stunts. Easily do these stunts while being stabilized. The only other airplane I could see that was able to do something like this, and that's the one I was just flying, folks, is the A560 from Radiolink. That plane. That also has stabilized without angle restrictions to let you do stunts like this. But this is the second plane I've seen that's able to do that. So, okay, we are getting a little bit weak here again with the battery again. So I'm going to land it, coming around. So, again, that is the P-51D for Eachine Mini P-51D Mini Mustang, fully stabilized, but that was mid-position flying. That turns off angle restrictions for pitch, so you can actually do loops and also barrel rolls. Once you're in doing that loop, give it some aileron, and you'll also do a barrel roll at the same time. So, hope you enjoyed this flight. This Quadcopter 101, signing out.
Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.